Good day everyone. In this part of the presentation, we will focus on an important but sometimes overlooked area of cybersecurity, security policies and governance. While technical defenses like firewalls, encryption, and intrusion detection systems are vital, they cannot work effectively without clear rules, strong policies, and a governance framework that ensures accountability. Think of this as the rulebook and the referees of cybersecurity. They provide direction, ensure fairness, and maintain order in an otherwise chaotic digital environment. Let's begin by breaking this topic down step by step. The first aspect is defining rules and guidelines for information security. Imagine an organization without rules. Every employee would decide for themselves how to handle sensitive data, what passwords to use, or whether or not to share files externally. That would be a recipe for disaster. Security policies set out the standards and expectations that everyone in an organization must follow. For example, a policy may require that all employees use complex passwords and change them every 90 days. Another policy might state that confidential documents must always be encrypted before being shared. Guidelines can also cover acceptable use of company networks, remote work protocols, or even rules for using personal devices. By clearly defining these rules, organizations reduce confusion and create a consistent approach to cybersecurity. Moving on, the second key point is establishing governance structures for accountability. Governance is about setting up decision-making authority, roles, and responsibilities in cybersecurity. In other words, who is responsible for what? For example, the Chief Information Security Officer, CISO, might be responsible for the overall security strategy. IT managers could handle the technical controls, while compliance officers ensure policies are aligned with regulations. Employees also have responsibilities, such as reporting suspicious emails or following best practices. Without governance, policies would exist only on paper, with no one ensuring they are followed. Governance structures make sure there is accountability and oversight. It's like having a chain of command in an army. Everyone knows their role, and responsibilities are clearly defined. The third element is ensuring compliance with legal and regulatory requirements. This is critical because cybersecurity is not only about best practices, it is also about following the law. Many industries are required by governments and regulators to protect sensitive data. For example, hospitals must comply with HIPAA in the United States to protect patient health information. Banks and financial institutions must comply with standards like PCI DSS to secure payment card data. In Europe, companies that handle personal data must follow GDPR, which imposes strict rules and heavy fines for violations. These regulations are not optional, and failure to comply can lead to massive financial penalties, lawsuits, and loss of reputation. Strong security policies and governance structures ensure that organizations are not just secure but also compliant with these requirements. Compliance is often the bridge between technology and law. It ensures that technical controls align with legal obligations. Finally, the fourth element is monitoring, auditing, and continuous improvement. Cybersecurity is not a one-time project, it is an ongoing process. Once policies are defined and governance is established, organizations must regularly check if these are working effectively. This is where monitoring and auditing come into play. Monitoring could involve reviewing system logs, detecting unusual activities, or tracking whether employees are following the policies. Auditing goes a step further by performing structured evaluations. For example, independent auditors may check if the organization's practices align with its stated policies and with regulatory standards. Continuous improvement is the idea that cybersecurity policies should evolve over time. New threats emerge, businesses expand, technologies change, and regulations are updated. A policy that was sufficient 2 years ago may now be outdated. By continuously monitoring, auditing, and updating, organizations ensure that their security policies remain relevant and effective. To make this more concrete, let's look at a real-world example. Consider a large e-commerce company that handles millions of customer records daily. If this company does not have strict security policies, employees might use weak passwords or share customer data carelessly. If there is no governance, no one would be accountable when a data breach occurs. But with strong policies in place, such as mandatory encryption of customer data and clear procedures for reporting incidents, risks are greatly reduced. Governance ensures that managers enforce these rules and employees understand their responsibilities. Regular audits confirm that policies are being followed, and updates are made whenever new cyber threats arise. As a result, the company not only avoids data breaches but also builds trust with its customers, who know their information is safe. Another example can be seen in government agencies. Governments hold highly sensitive information, from national defense secrets to citizens' personal data. To protect this, they enforce strict governance frameworks such as NIST in the United States, which sets out detailed cybersecurity standards. Security policies dictate everything from how classified information should be stored to who can access certain files. Audits are conducted frequently to ensure compliance, and penalties are imposed if policies are not followed. Without this structured governance, government agencies would be extremely vulnerable to cyber espionage and attacks. So why does all of this matter? Because cybersecurity is as much about people and processes as it is about technology. A company can have the most advanced firewall, but if an employee unknowingly shares confidential data because there was no clear policy against it, the firewall becomes useless. Likewise, without governance, there is no accountability, and mistakes go unnoticed. Security policies and governance provide the structure, clarity, and oversight needed to turn good intentions into real protection. It's also worth mentioning that policies and governance build a culture of security within an organization. When employees see that rules are clear, that management takes security seriously, and that compliance is monitored, they too begin to take security more seriously. Over time, this culture reduces the risk of insider threats, accidents, and negligence. To conclude, security policies and governance are the backbone of an effective cybersecurity strategy. They involve 4 key elements: defining rules and guidelines, establishing governance structures, ensuring compliance with laws and regulations, and monitoring with continuous improvement. Together, these elements create an environment where technology, people, and processes work in harmony to protect information assets. Without policies and governance, cybersecurity would be chaotic and inconsistent. With them, organizations gain direction, accountability, compliance, and resilience. To conclude, security policies and governance are the backbone of an effective cybersecurity strategy. They involve 4 key elements: defining rules and guidelines, establishing governance structures, ensuring compliance with laws and regulations, and monitoring with continuous improvement. Together, these elements create an environment where technology, people, and processes work in harmony to protect information assets. Without policies and governance, cybersecurity would be chaotic and inconsistent. With them, organizations gain direction, accountability, compliance, and resilience. Thank you.